Okay, so I posted on Instagram a picture of our family meeting of all, and just like because we had a family meeting about the coronavirus, and Chris did a lot of charts and had all kinds of data and everything. And we had people that said called him and they wanted to know what he thought and what he found out, and so we thought we would share it. So here goes, Chris up.
All right, so then I just put together these charts because I wanted to see sort of you hear every day what's happening with how many more people have and all, but you don't see like a timeline and all. You don't, so I put these together so I could see myself.
Like a visual.
Yeah, and so Toph, you want to go to the next chart? And so viruses follow what they call they keep on talking about the exponential growth of what's happened right now with COVID 19, but viruses actually follow what they call a logistics growth. And it goes up until an inflection point and then it levels off. And that happens when really there's less and less people to get infected. And when the previous days, well, when the day's additional infected number of people divided by yesterday's new infected people is about one, or goes above one, it's an exponential growth, and below one, it's starting to convert over the logistic growth. And so I track that on the next chart. You'll see for the world,
And
that's
this
what,
is up to date as of right now.
as of today, the last day is March 23rd's data. And for the world, you can see the orange line is tracking the day over day new cases. And it's starting to go down, and it's starting to approach for the world one. And right now, there's just under 350,000 people infected in the world. And then I also added the total number of deaths divided by the total number of cases, and that's running about 4% of the people that are 4% of the people are dying that have caught the COVID-19. But then I thought it was also interesting because you don't really get a perspective of how many people there are in the percentage by population. So this is the next chart is the same chart, but based on percentage of population, not just counts. And you can see this is 0.01%. Well, it's about 0.004% of the people have contracted COVID-19 of the population of the world, which is 0.01% is about one in 10,000. And so that's more like, what is that, 4 in 100,000 people have contracted it. And so then I decided to do like United States and China, the same chart, but by country. And so this is the USA in by counts. And you can see that the US just about 35,000 people have contracted the virus.
Oh, it
And
jumped today, right?
what's that?
It jumped today.
Well, every day it's jumping about 1.5 times the previous day. So,
Oh, yeah.
this is about 1.5 from here to here. New people, that's about 1.5. That's about 1.5. And you can see that's what the orange line is.
And that's what exponential growth means.
Yeah, that is what exponential growth means.
Oh, okay.
And so then the total number of people dying divided by the total population in the U.S. is about 1.5%, so quite a bit lower than the rest of the world. So that's a good thing. And as we see social distancing, that's fine. You'll see this number. Hopefully, the day over day new numbers start to drop. So so now you can go to the the only thing is I also added the percentage of the population that's over 70 for each country. In the U.S., it's 11.25%. The world was 5.88%, and so and that I'll tell you more about that when we get to Italy. But but you can see with the U.S., it's about 1 in 10,000 people are catching the virus right now. So it's it's pretty when you think about the whole the whole picture. That's really not a lot of people yet. So
and so 1 out of 10,000 people are getting the coronavirus, and what is it?
For the U.S., 1.5%.
1.5% of those people are dying from it.
Right. So not a whole lot of people are dying from it, and it's not even close to what the seasonal flu is doing yet. But I don't.
Oh, the seasonal flu kills more people, really.
Well, the seasonal flu to date has killed a lot more people this year than COVID-19. So.
Can somebody go turn off the dishwasher, please?
But when you look at it percentage-wise, more people have gotten the flu, right?
Yeah, more people. I don't know. Of course, there's a vaccine for the virus for
like
seasonal flu, but
0.01%
Oh.
of people die
they catch
get
it.
the flu.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that.
Yes, well, you're right. A whole lot more. So over 10,000 people have died from the seasonal flu. But obviously, if 0.01% of the people die from it, or 0.001% die, a lot of people catch it,
But there's also a vaccine for it too, so that
which
helps.
limits the number of people that catch it.
And die from it.
Well, you can only you only catch it if you don't have the
You only die if you catch it.
And the flu also kills infants. Well, coronavirus, it doesn't seem to be as dangerous to infants.
Yeah, that's why I put the age over 70, because coronavirus seems to be like the average age of the person dying from the COVID-19 virus is over 80 years old.
But I'm just saying, if you're comparing it to the flu, you have a big pool of people that can die because you have both ends of the spectrum. Where coronavirus, you just have the older people.
That's true.
So I'm just.
Mm-hmm. Good point, Sid.
Yeah.
And so then we have some other countries in here, like China. Of course, it started out in China, and their age over 70. They're 6.82% of their population is over 70, and
Bless you.
they have 3.5%. Oh no, 4%
Bless you.
of the people on average that are dying from that catch the virus are dying. But you can see initially that they're day over day.
We don't have the corona. We're just coughing and hacking.
Seasonal allergies.
The day over day of people catching the virus went down below, was above 1 and exponential growth, and then it went down below 1, and then it raised over 1 and then back under 1, and now they're actually up to 1.6 times each day, so they're in exponential growth again.
And you were saying something about the different cities, or
Well, I don't know why. I'm thinking that it's probably different areas of China, because China is so large. Well, like the U.S. is so large too, but it's their population's like 5 times our population.
Yeah.
So,
But the question was, why is it starting to exponentially increase again? And it was because they have such a big population, and the country, China's so big that it could hit this area first, and then by the time
and do exponential growth there.
and do an exponential growth there, and it takes a long time for it to spread to the
And
other part of China, and by the time that it spreads to over here, it's kind of died off. The coronavirus has kind of
oh
died
yeah,
off
that
over
makes
here.
sense.
but then it hits that exponential growth over in this part of China.
Yeah, because initially when they start their exponential growth, it's the percentage wise of the total people that have had it is pretty small, but as time goes on, it becomes a larger part, and so that's now they are an exponential growth day over day.
And you can see that the inflection point in their graph.
Yeah, they're
Well, in the blue bar graph, you can
oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
where it starts to.
Yeah, so
turn around.
here you can see it level off, and now it's starting to go up.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then just to get reference here, their total percent of their population is so large, or their population is so large. I mean, they're only 0.005% of the. So basically, 2 out of 20,000 people. No, 1 out of 20,000 people are infected
Yeah.
of all the population of China. So
Yeah.
not a whole lot still. And I did. I already talked about our death rate is 4% of the people that catch COVID-19 in China are dying from it. So
What was the worldwide again?
it was
1%.
around 4%.
4%.
In the U.S. was about 1.5%.
Okay.
What's the next one? So Italy.
Oh my gosh.
This is where everybody's heard how bad it is, and again, their a population over 70 is about 17.46. So they have a very high over elderly population.
Dang, look at that.
And
Shot wide eyed.
their death rate is, out of the 60,000 people who've gotten it, about 8.5 per. Well, oh, I didn't really mention that. I'm doing a 7-day average to smooth out that curve. The 7-day average is about 8.5% of the people that catch it are dying in Italy. And actually, today's numbers, they were at the small red line is 9.5% dying. And so, and then you want to go to the next, by population, their population is so much smaller than ours. There's almost 0.1%, almost 10 times the number of people infected by the population than what we have. So
I thought we were at point
we were at like,
5.
we were at 0.01.
Really?
Yeah, you can go back and see.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were at 0.01, and they're at 0.09.
China was. That's
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
China was half of us. And
Right.
So that line that will fall up, it's back down.
Yeah, because it's again that 7-day average. They had that one point that's way up there that for the 7 it brought it way up. So it's really back down here. That's probably not a very. There's probably
They
several
had a
people
lot of
that count
tests.
on that one day
A
or
lot of
something.
people got tested that day or something.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know, but it it probably if I is more of a straight line riding here at right around 1.5% or so, or 1.5 times. I mean, and then
But the other thing was
Mhm.
Italy didn't start social distancing until way later.
no, that's true. So they got a really steep curve here, and that's why so many more of their people caught it. I mean, it was doubling every day for a few days there.
And then Italy's on lockdown now, right?
I think they are. Yeah, I think
But-
they're on total lockdown.
But it doesn't. I mean, once a ton of people have it, if you're on lockdown, it doesn't really do that
As much good. Yeah.
because say we're on lockdown and we're all living together. Well, if one of us already had it and we're on lockdown, well, all of us have it now.
Mm-hmm. As long as we don't go out, it's fine. But if anybody
Yeah.
goes out, it's one more level of spreading. But there's a bigger chance of someone in that household having it
Yeah.
when they're having 9 times the number of
Yeah.
percentage or ratio than we do that have it. And what else we have? So I did.
So Italy's bringing up the average a lot, the world average.
Well, yeah, they are. They are bringing up the
So-
average. And the United Kingdom, though,
Oh,
their death they only have roughly 5,700 people that have caught the virus, but they're at around 4 people dying that catch it, or 4% of the people are dying that catch it there also, and they're still growing at an exponential rate as well. They're over 1.5. Yeah, well, they're just under 1.5 times each day, so they're still in exponential growth. And then just because I did it for this is their population, which is also a pretty small percentage of the population have it, like under 1 out of 10,000 people. So, and then I also put South Korea in here because they seem to be handling it pretty well. They still did an exponential growth, but it looks like it's stopping a lot faster. They're approaching, well, one although they're still in exponential growth, it's a very low exponential growth, and hopefully they'll make the turn. And they're only at 9,000 people infected. And what's their population? Oh, I don't have their population numbers in here. So this is where I downloaded the data from, COVID, Our World, indata.org, and the population data came from UN.org. So there you go. Got any questions? Let us know. We'll see if we can find out for you.
One thing you mentioned about South Korea the other night was that they took steps to
early.
like
Oh,
in
SARS.
2002 with SARS.
With SARS, they started preparing for future epidemics or epidemics.
Mm-hmm.
And SARS is also a coronavirus, just like COVID-19.
Yeah.
And
So that'd be the reason theirs is so.
yeah, and they did a lot of testing real early too, more than anybody else.
Did they in South Korea? They were that prepared.
Yeah,
Because of 2002, they were that
I
prepared.
think they were just prepared. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's what I've heard. I mean, they started growing. I mean, they started.
They went up
Um,
fast on that.
well, they have a bad data point also, so I don't know, and that makes this raise up fast. But it looks like it leveled off. They actually went down below 1, and now they're actually a little above 1. So
I'm wondering how long we have to stay in quarantine after the inflection point to keep it below 1.
Well, so like if you look at China,
Yeah.
that started in China, the end of January. It started in China. Coronavirus started at the end of January, and they hit their inflection point at mid-February, so about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of they were at a flat line for a while.
So that could be. I mean, I'm not saying it
But
is, but it
the
could be another
US
reason.
You're kind of right at that 3-week point right now, and so maybe pretty soon we'll start seeing that inflection point.
I hope so.
but that also means that when people start going back out again,
That's exactly what I'm saying. We gotta
it'll
stay in the house.
start hitting again. So the main thing is the point of social distancing is so you won't get it, but eventually people will probably get it. But you want to make sure you have enough hospital beds. So that's why they talk about flattening out the curve. Is it so not everybody has it at once? Because that's one problem Italy's having. Is that so many people are having it at the same time that the hospitals can't handle it. They don't have
Maybe if it takes a long time too, they'll have a vaccine. Maybe you think?
Yeah, they say there's vaccines being developed right now, and actually there's some that went into human trial just this week. But they don't know if they're going to work yet. So, and the main thing is if you have pre-existing conditions, or you're an elderly people typically have pre-existing conditions. That's why it affects the elderly so much. Then you definitely need to keep social distance regardless as if it goes off for everybody else. So, visiting grandparents is probably not a good idea for a while. You can talk to them on the phone.
That's right,
So-
Sid. You can talk about the puzzles.
Yep.
All right, is that it?
That's all I have. What do you think?
Oh, that was the Up family meeting recapped. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Toph?